Hi, I'm Donny Benet. It's great to be in Toronto today. Oh, I had a huge impact because just all the showing, exposing the music and everything from kind of 60s, 50s and 60s soul, rock to 70s and 80s funk, disco. Quite a wide spectrum, some jazz in there as well, everything. Yeah. So that was in the days of MySpace. It was like a MySpace bio. So I'm a little bit older than you guys, and so we kind of treated the internet like when the internet first came out, it was basically fart jokes and porn. And so any time you do an avatar or something, it would be quite, it'd be like Ass Man or something funny like that. So MySpace was kind of like that as well. So you guys didn't experience MySpace, did you? It was like that, but like everybody was in on the joke. So I did release my first album, and it was just around the period of MySpace, and it got stuck, and I was like, oh shit, I have to go with this. So I didn't go to Las Vegas. I've always been a freelance musician, so you're always working on. That's been my job since 2000 when I moved to Sydney. I met Jack Latter through a colleague, a drummer friend of mine, and he's Tim Rogers is his real name. He calls himself Jack Latter because there's a very famous Tim Rogers in Australia of the same name. But we started playing with him 2005, and it was another project that stopped. But that whole relationship between Jack Latter and there's Kieran J. Callanan as well, and the friend of mine is Lawrence Pike. He's a wonderful drummer, solo drummer. And through that as well, Alex Cameron came a little bit later, so he was friends with Tim and Kieran as well. And he was in a band called CK, which is quite different from what he does now. Very different. And so there was him. Who else? There's a whole kind of bunch of Melbourne guys as well. Australia's a really small place, so everyone had their projects going and would all, jump up on stage with each other or stuff like that. So yeah, it hasn't been a hard thing to do multiple projects at once. Yeah, definitely. It's a very small place, despite how big it looks. It was just basically what was available and cheap. Cost nothing. He kind of stayed out of it, so I didn't really pay attention anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's okay. Come in. This is my pasta. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks. No, it's a very beautiful instrument. It'll always be timeless. Jules, Rice is Nice is a great friend of mine, Julia Wilson, and another friend of mine, Dave Miller, who was kind of helping me at the beginning, made the introduction. And Jules runs fantastic label Rice is Nice. It's put out so many great bands. She's very energetic, very passionate. And at the time, it just was a perfect fit. She was putting out kind of, I guess, more weirder and adventurous bands that a lot of Australian labels kind of weren't going near. So she's always been ahead of the game in that remark. Nothing really. I mean, I think we were just looking for the right time, and I had a friend of mine. We were kind of drip feeding the new songs out. He was a DJ, and he suggested the rate that the record industry was changing. People put albums out and they're forgotten in 6 months. So he's like, just take your time doing it. So we put out the first single in 2016 and just slowly fed them to people. And it just meant I could keep on playing concerts for those years. Not particularly, just what came out. At the time, there was a lot of kind of shoegaze bands, really indie guitar-based bands, and really pretty young men up on stage. And I just thought, if I saw, a guy in his early 30s, actually I don't even think I was 30 then, going bald, kind of dancing around, I'd be really into it. At the time, I was really into John Mouse and Ariel Pink, and they were just completely unsuitable artists for what Australians were listening to at the time, or they were just coming up. So, and then I really loved Alan Vega as well, and Tonetta, and so I just thought these guys are kind of, if I could channel some of what they're doing, because what they were doing seemed so out of place in a way. Not Alan Vega, but the rest of the other guys. So yeah, I just figured it'd be a balding middle-aged guy singing about love songs. Well, I did play in a lot of hotel lobbies in my youth when I was studying and as a freelance musician. So I'd see a lot of and this was before the days of the internet, and so usually when people check into a hotel, they'll go up to their room and pull their phone or computer out and escape to their own world. Whereas back then, it was, people would come down to the hotel lobby and kind of mingle. And of course, it was way before Tinder and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just see guys trying it on and girls trying it on, and I don't know. It was kind of like people would get a few drinks in them. And it was always they were always searching for something. So I probably took a lot of inspiration from that, rather than my own personal experience. So that was through my DJ friend Marty, who was booking and managing me at the time, and we just had a bit of a change, and we hooked up with them, and we put out one album, and the second one's coming out this year. So yeah, it's a nice relationship. Well, it would be a new album. A new album and lots of touring and lots of interviews. Yeah, yep. I hope so, yeah. It's we sold out the show a few weeks in advance, so it's a good sign. It's whenever you go to a city that does that, you come back. So we'll definitely be back. And I'll be back in Montreal to try the poutine, as we were discussing. I mean, I'm glad to be in Toronto. My pastor's getting cold. I'm glad to be in Toronto and looking forward to the show tonight. Pleasure. Thank you. You're welcome.